r/AskReddit. What's the best question someone asked in XEd? Kid, why do people make noise/moan while, Teacher, why do people go mmmmmmmm when they enjoy their morning cereal? I just remember the class freaking out. I always scream and moan the Lord's name when I dig into some delicious food. I'll have what she's having. Kid, what happens if you pee in the girl? Teacher, she'll probably hit you. Hit you with a high five for getting her pregnant. That's how it works, right? Right? You stick it in her and pee. Yeah. If a girl has her nipples pissed, does the milk come out like a sprinkler? I'm legitimately wondering that now. You know those bingo markers? Yeah, kinda like that. A completely porous surface that leaks from the pores. This is less of a question, but my teacher gave the go-ahead for people to ask whatever question they want before the class started. One person in the back timidly puts their hand up and says UHH. So I just heard this as a rumor, and I don't know if it's true, it might not be, but UHH. Someone told me that if you don't wank before the age of 18 you explode. You do. Just not in the way you think. PF parody. Where does the peen bone go after your boner goes away? The peen bone goes back home to Pen Island, where it waits in its little cave until you get another boner. It will come again. I thought it went back to the Pen 15 clubhouse. It was STD day in our XEd class. To really scare us into abstinence, the teacher passed around pictures of affected genitalia. One picture in particular sparked the question from one of my classmates. EWW. What turned this one black? The guy who had just handed it to her explained for everyone to hear. Hallie. That is a black guy's peen. And Hallie never went back. Actually, after that Hallie never went black. Girl, if you put cum in your hair, does it make it shinier? Teacher, what boy told you that? AWW, come on now, it's protein. Women crack eggs in their hair. Why can't they just use my baby glaze? It's sticky and takes a lot more work to get. XEd teacher, X is not the same thing as love. You love your mom, right? Student, I love my dog. Deg. Deg. Can the vag close up and seal the peen in? It was me who asked. The teacher was discussing foreplay when one of the students asked, does heavy petting make the pussy purr? If you do it right, it also drools. My ex-cat did that. Can you get pregnant from swallowing? Or do twins happen because of a threesome? Optimum has some explaining to do. She liked the D. What's there to explain? I went to a Christian school. The teacher brought up that it's a sin to watch porn and that it's a bad thing to do. And someone in my class asked, but what if you learn, like, techniques from it? But what if you learn, like, techniques from it? Teacher, don't worry, you won't get to use them. Don't worry, you won't get to use them. He spoke, and how they all laughed at the butt of his joke. They snickered with scorn. And they chuckled in teams. They giggled and grinned. And I hear it in dreams. Carrot, carrot, carrot. When the teacher was talking about infertility, someone asked if two infertile people can make a baby because negative x negative equals positive. That's what you get for scheduling XEd right after math. Ducking Common Core. Is it wrong to wank while holding a picture of Jesus? Cue an hour-long lecture from the priest. Totally destroyed any chance of following the lesson plan or anything that day. Catholic school was a blast. /r/Jesus/Reddit. INB for literally. Can the nipple be bigger than the boob? Dear Lord, can it? There was a girl in my class during middle school who sent out pics of her tits in 8th grade. Yes, it is. Also why her nickname is Pepperoni. Uterus? Isn't that the thing that cows have? Ducking udders. Well, cows do have uterodes too. Haha. Edit. Okay. I changed it from uteruses to uteri and then to uterodes. How come every time I ejaculate my balls shrivel up like a frightened turtle? They are getting pulled in for better delivery. Batter delivery. How do daddy long legs reproduce if they're all daddies? Edit. For what it is worth, This came from my friend when in year 10th biology, so 14, 15 years old. Edit 2. My highest rated comment is about daddy long leg peeing. Fantastic. Adoption? Nature? Finds a way. Is it masturbation or incest if you have sex with your clone? Is it gay to duck your clone? Not if you say no homo. One student asked, why is Nalex a turn on for lots of guys, but not so much for girls? Legit question. It's somewhat generalized. I'm guessing that guys are drawn to it for the edgy/naughty factor, and B, because it's generally tighter than the vag. Girls are not typically as interested for the second reason. Edit. Rip my inbox. This is more discussion about now than I expected to have this week. Much less today. See, and if you do it wrong, it would be incredibly painful. Especially if you're a big guy. Not a question. But our vice principal came in to talk to us, and the extent of his safe X talk was that he washed his peen in the sink before X. Which none of us really needed to know. Wouldn't have been so bad. But it was in the middle of math class, and he just came back from the bathroom. Teacher, so all mammals have nipples, but the ones on men are basically superfluous. Now, mammals don't always have 2. Dogs, for example, have 7. Student raises hand. Oh, is that why they can hear so well? Stunned silence. This is real life. This is also the stupidest thing I have ever heard anyone on this planet say. He was also wrong on the number of dog nipples. The only mammal with an odd number of nipples is the Virginia possum, with 13. Edit. Since everyone and their mother think I'm mistaken, it's very common to have accessory or supernumerary nipples. Some men have 3 or 4, just like some dogs have an odd number. But a standard odd number only occurs in this mammal. You know. I had to look this up once because I thought, wait, isn't 7 an odd number? Turns out the number varies. Is typically 8 or 10. But occasionally 7 and 9 show up. So the ex-ed teacher told us that after a vasectomy a guy still has something like 80 loads still active in him. My buddy looks over at the other teacher and says, AHH. I can knock that out in a weekend. We lost it. 1 weekend equals 2 days. 2 days equals 48 hours. This would mean he would have to ejaculate twice every hour for 2 days straight. Well damn. So you're saying there's a chance? Is it okay to let my buddy use the same condom after I do? This is a question that should have been asked before a kid actually did it and was later stuck with a child support case with his buddy's girlfriend. The story has heard it. 2 young couples were having a good time with their SOs but only had 1 condom. The first guy safely finishes the deed with his girl, then gives the used rubber to his buddy, who turns it inside out and proceeds with his girl. Safe, right? Edit. Clear up that buddy 1 is the one that got stuck with the case. Yes. Paternity test. I wish I could believe that nobody is that stupid. I wish. A former boss was a retired Navy captain and told the story of how, when he was he had a sailor come to him complaining of burning down there after a stop in Singapore. He asked the kid, why didn't you use a condom? The kid replied, we did. But we wanted to do it again and didn't have any more. So we turned it inside out. Can you actually stick your peen in an ear and have erex? You know, like in Family Guy? Well, my teacher said no. What's Family Guy? Also, why would you want to do that? Anyway, the hole is too small and you'd puncture your eardrum. Don't try to do it. When I was in 7th grade, ex-ed, one of the female teachers jokingly said that they wanted to sew up their daughter's vag to keep them from getting pregnant. My response was to raise my hand and ask, but how would they pee? One of the most popular girls in the grade responded, wrong hole. And that's how I learned that girls have 3 holes, men have 2. This was an auditorium discussion with my entire grade of 300-ish people. I spent the next 5 years with them. Never came up. But I've never forgotten. I like to think I helped all the other guys realize something. You were on the right track though. How would they menstruate? Would have been pretty right on. In the cultures where they actually do this to young women, yeah, I know. They have to leave a bit of an opening for menstruation to avoid death from sepsis. You may not want to know any more details about this, but look up infibulation if you do. It's a pretty reprehensible practice, but surprisingly widespread. Cool. I'll Facebook message Tina and let her know that after further research over the last 2 decades I've made some new conclusions. Teacher, anytime semen enters the vag, the woman is at risk of pregnancy. Kid, what if she is on birth control? Teacher, there is still a risk. Kid, what if you're having sex and then you released your semen into one girl's mouth and then she passes it into another girl's mouth and then they spit it into each other's vags? Can they both get pregnant? Teacher, there is still a risk. Never tell me the odd sperm. Can we get a demonstration? Johnny, that's a very inappropriate question. Meet me after class. I need to talk to you. Porno starts. The kid is very clearly 30. Why does it hurt when you get shampoo in your pinhole? The kid had a solid question. Edit, wasn't my question. But these comments are quite informative. I'd actually like to know the answer to that question.